Watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Today is an alert day. Storms hit the crossroads. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Orange Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. And Mac, we had even more rain tonight.
Yeah, pretty active day. We expected the storm to come through with rain, but you know, the dark clouds that rolled through kind of scared everybody. There you see the last of it. All of it's drifting to the northeast. We did have a couple thunderstorms in and around the city just about an hour or two ago, but they're also dropping little hail or graupel. It's very hard to differentiate because you can't really see good pictures of it, but there's the one that gave us the thunder and lightning over the city, and all of those now moving east. In fact, in the Houston area, they're getting quite a few reports of hail, small hail hitting the city, but this is the cold air. It's coming in, and it's part of that whole complex. Now, the main event, or the storm line, is already out over the Gulf waters. Back up here over the hill country is the drier air. That's going to roll in tonight. And by sunrise, we get a very gusty north wind and very dry air over the next couple of days. Now, I got to tell you, I'm giving you a 7 days warning. We may have some really cold weather next week. We're talking an Arctic chill. So we'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. We are now able to see a timeline of events leading up to last week's chemical spill at the Port of Victoria. This past Wednesday night into Thursday morning, Victoria emergency management officials began to receive calls regarding a foul odor around the southwestern region of Victoria County. But it was through an anonymous call on Thursday evening that the Victoria Office of Emergency Management received information related to the accidental release of crude oil at Shamrock Products at the Port of Victoria.
The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality was already investigating the spill at Shamrock midday Thursday. They did not inform the Victoria Office of Emergency Management of the investigation or their findings until Friday morning. With the source of the odor now found, a full investigation and cleanup began.
Unfortunately for us in Victoria Emergency Management, we were not notified of that. Even though we are the ones who got them into the front gate, we're able to get them there to investigate this spill at Shamrock's products. They did not notify us until Friday morning.
We reached out to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and have not heard a response as of yet. McBrayer says the spill site is still in progress, but it has largely been completed. A man who shot Jackson County Sheriff's deputies has been discharged from the hospital and booked into the Jackson County Jail. The Jackson County Herald Tribune reports 32-year-old Martin Lugo Jr. of Vanderbilt was taken into custody on December 29th. When deputies made contact, he opened fire and deputies wounded him twice. Lugo is charged with attempted capital murder of a peace officer with a $2 million bond. He is also being held on 2 other charges, and he is not eligible for release.
22-year-old Michael Herrera is in the DeWitt County Jail facing 4 charges. Cuero police arrested Herrera on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Herrera is in jail on 4 total charges in lieu of $112,000 bond. An El Campo man now faces up to 20 years in prison for a reported bar scuffle about 18 months ago in Wharton County. The El Campo Leader News reports a grand jury indicted 43-year-old Blair Cooey Jr. on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. Cooey is accused of using a knife to threaten a Glen Flora bar worker on June 9, 2022. 2 days later, he was found shot 2 times in the chest outside a home. The Texas Rangers then investigated a reported disturbance there.
A Wharton man is in custody facing charges from Harris County. 32-year-old Freddie Anderson is charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Anderson is in the Wharton County Jail in lieu of a $50,000 bond. And back in Victoria, police took a man into custody after a chase. They first made contact with 31-year-old Jesus Benavides and the 1000 block of Brazo Street after a report of a disturbance. Benavides then fled in a Ford F-150 until he crashed in the 100 block of Pleasant Green. Benavides is charged with evading with a previous conviction. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond. He is also charged with violation of parole, no bond on that charge. Now, longtime state representative Jeannie Morrison today announced Jeff Bouknight, or rather endorsed Jeff Bouknight in his campaign for Texas House District 30. Bouknight is running to succeed Morrison, who is retiring from the Texas legislature after representing that district for 13 consecutive terms. Bouknight is a former Victoria mayor and city council member. He is running for state representative District 30 and the Republican primary against Brett Baldwin, Vanessa Hicks Callaway, and A.J. Louderback.
In a statement, Representative Morrison said, quote, Jeff Bouknight is a values-driven conservative leader with a proven track record of delivering results. Jeff will do whatever it takes to secure our southern border, protect our Second Amendment rights, and defend our rural Texas values. Jeff Bouknight is a trusted conservative leader, and I am proud to endorse him to be our next state representative, unquote. The Republican primary is on March 5th.
Leading us to your Veer poll tonight, the question is, does Jeannie Morrison's endorsement affect your vote for Texas House District 30? Yes or no? According to our results, it looks like 27% say yes and 73% stand at no. Thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We recently had all of the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now to hear their various platforms. Now we're giving you a chance to learn more about their character and personality. We asked all of the mayoral candidates the same 4 questions. Our first question was for them to show us an important item in their home or office. Number 2 was to talk to me about your dream job when you were a child. Number 3, if elected mayor, what is your greatest fear? And finally, what is your favorite quote and why?
This is my first book I did, Your Guide to All Things Catacorn. And this is really important because my daughter Presley was diagnosed with autism, and she inspired me to do this book to give back to others. And that's my son and her. This book is so important to me because what it did is it took an idea out of my head and made it come to life. And it shows that if you dream it, you can do it. My dream job as a kid was to be an author, an astronaut, and someone that can make a living by helping other people have awesome lives. And what's super cool is I do all that. And also music, I wanted to perform. So that's why my life, when you look at it, I do all these different things, but they make sense. And little me is like, ah. My biggest fear if elected as mayor is school shootings. I have children that attend the schools here, and that is a huge problem across the nation. And it's something that we face that we need to come up with solutions with. We need to work harder on, but it is something that terrifies me. I think that, you know, it's one of those things I've lost sleep at night over thinking about. My favorite quote is from Albert Einstein. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I believe that is a lot of what I'm running my campaign on, is that we can't keep saying we're running for lower taxes, all of these different things that we know the community is concerned about, but then we're not coming up with lasting solutions.
Also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Peter Brown, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special City of Victoria mayoral election. Palacios Marine Agriculture Research plans to distribute 15 billion oysters to the Texas coast by 2025. KIII reports the organization was established by the Ed Rachel Foundation, and they are dedicated to restoring oysters on the Texas coast. The research center says oysters improve the health and productivity of our bays and estuaries. Last year, the Ed Rachel Foundation bought the Luther Hotel in Palacios.
Authorities say at least 21 people were hurt after a gas leak and explosion at Fort Worth Hotel this afternoon. Fire crews and police responded to the scene and searched the building. No deaths were immediately reported due to the explosion. They found one person previously reported missing and another who was trapped. No fatalities had been reported from this blast. Officials say at least one of the injured was listed in critical condition.
Starting Tuesday, Main Street will close between Goodwin Avenue and Constitution Street for 5 weeks, and between Constitution Street and Santa Rosa Street for for 4 weeks. The closure between Goodwin and Constitution is for utility construction and paving as part of the De Leon Plaza expansion project. The closure between Constitution and Santa Rosa is for a private roof replacement project at a building in the 100 block of South Main Street. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us, coming up on 25 News now at 10. Lawmakers in Iowa gathered to begin the legislative session today and address the fatal school shooting in Perry.
Also ahead, some Houston residents say they have not received relief funds from Hurricane Harvey. Lawmakers gathered at the State House for the start of the 2024 legislative session today. Senators and representatives gavelled in at 10 a.m. this morning. Leaders in both chambers from both parties outlined their priorities for the session. But before that, lawmakers addressed the school shooting in Perry just several days ago.
While we can't legislate away evil and get rid of all the bad things in this world, we will keep our thoughts and prayers with those in Perry as we move forward and put in place policies to make our state better and stronger.
The truth is, we must address gun safety. We must find a solution to gun violence. No child should go to school fearing for their lives, but today millions do. Gun safety should not be a partisan issue.
A 17-year-old gunman killed a 6th grader and wounded 5 others, including the high school's principal, on Thursday before taking his life. Cannabis products come in all sorts of edible forms, including gummies, candies, and even cookies.
They can be tasty for adults, but could also look appealing to children.
Many edible cannabis products on the market today look just like normal candy or cookies, and that increases the risk of children eating them accidentally, experts warn. And cannabis exposure for kids is going up. The American Academy of Pediatrics published findings last year stating that from 2017 to 2021, cannabis exposure increased by more than 1,000% in children under 6. Nearly all of these exposures happened at home, and those edibles can be dangerous for kids. More than a quarter of the children in the report required hospital admission. Most common symptoms include drowsiness and lethargy, but multiple children experienced seizures, comas, and difficulty breathing. So call Poison Control if you think your child may have been exposed to cannabis. To avoid accidentally exposing children to cannabis, experts say don't eat edibles in front of young kids and keep them out of reach of all children. Knowing the risks and having a plan can help your children stay safe. safe. With this Medical Minute, I'm Em Nguyen, ABC News.
Family members of Tyree Nichols honored his memory on Sunday during a vigil in Sacramento, marking 1 year since his death. The event was held at the Tyree Nichols Skate Park. The skate park was named in his honor, he used to skate there before he moved to Memphis. The vigil was held to show support for the family as they prepare for the year ahead. A state trial is scheduled to begin on August 12th for the 4 Memphis police charged with his death. More than 6 years after Hurricane Harvey slammed the Texas coast, the city of Houston has yet to allocate $200 million in federal relief funds to victims. The Texas Tribune reports in a letter to new Houston Mayor John Whitmire, General Land Office Commissioner Dawn Buckingham offered her office's staff to help Whitmire distribute the funding. The GLO says the city must take the remaining $200 million by February 2025 when the city's contract with the GLO expires. If not before then the state gets it back, then the state has to send it back to the federal government.
Good evening, everyone. Well, we've had only 27/100ths of an inch of rain for all that huffing and puffing that we had. Stormy weather around the area. It is beginning to move out, but what about tomorrow? We'll be talking about that and taking a look at the long term because it includes the words Arctic chill. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. A busy day in the weather office with all the stormy weather rolling through the area. We're right now at 54 degrees, but before the thunderstorms came in, we had gotten up to 78. Thunderstorms kicked up tall and then came down and brought all that cold air down into the area. Right now, you can see how we do already have a northwest wind that is blowing up to 30 miles an hour. So it's going to be breezy, but you know what? It's going to get windier and stronger tomorrow when the dry air rolls in. Right now we still have a lot of humidity. That's why we're getting these late night thunderstorms that are popping up. Here's a city right about there, and you can see how shower activity has redeveloped right over the area, but by and large most of it is now moving away. Yeah, we can hear thunder and lightning. Even here, we have a really good roof and we hear it coming through. The main event, however, is already out over the Gulf waters, as you can see right about there. That's where the leading edge of the storm was that came through the region. Now, the tornado watch that you might have heard about this afternoon, it was a tornado watch potential, but it only came down as far as Wharton County. They did have a tornado on the ground in Houston, up near Cold Springs, which is way up in the north. I believe it's near the airport, International. Well, now that storm is going to move to the east and produce all kinds of problems, because now we've got cold air and we've got moisture coming in on top of it. So you can see all this snow. And as I mentioned earlier, the farmers in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, they're upset because it hasn't snowed. The ground is bare and they need a good snow cover, because that melts slowly in the spring and waters the ground. So they haven't had any kind of snow coverage, and now they're going to get one out of this system. So here's the city, and you can see how we have a few little pop-ups here and there, one down there toward Port O'Connor. But by tomorrow, all this will be gone. You can see how the tornado watch is over. It's been extended out into Louisiana, where they're going to get the activity right along the Gulf Coast. This that you see here, this is a red flag warning. This means that there's going to be some high fire danger tomorrow afternoon, well, even by morning, when the dry north wind starts kicking in. That's going to give us quite a bit of drier weather. As you can see, some spots did get a little bit over an inch of rain, but generally speaking, it was less than half an inch in most areas, courtesy of the storm. Here's the storm center, and this becomes the problem for the Ohio Valley. The stormy weather rolls across the Gulf Coast, and here for us is that dry northwest wind that's going to kick in. That's actually going to give us a couple of very nice days. Only problem is high winds and low humidity. You know, everything hasn't greened up yet. I mean, it's not spring, so there's a lot of dry brush out there that they're worried about catching fire. So let's all be careful with anything that looks like flame outdoors. So high pressure is going to give us a couple of good days. Another storm already in the northwest coming in the middle of the week, but that's not the main event. The big story is the fact that 8 days from now, we may have an Arctic chill. All right, let's do this one in the short term. Tomorrow is 46 in the morning, 61 the high in Port Lavaca with afternoon sun, but a fairly gusty wind. 43 in the morning in Cuero, 60 the high in Cuero, and again sunny skies, but the dry north wind is only going to be the only issue. And then while it settles down, the wind that is, on Wednesday, it kicks up again on Thursday night when the next front comes through. That's generally a dry line. And so we're okay for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday night, this is a big one, folks. This is the Arctic front that may put our temperatures down into the 20s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So pets, plants, pipes, and people, we need to worry about that with the big chill coming in next week. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Mr. Zach with football, right?
That's right. We actually have a new football champion in the world of college. I'll have that coming up in sports. Today, the College Football National Championship game over at NRG Stadium is a battle of the top two teams in the country. Early in this one, Michigan's running game could not be stopped from 41 yards out. There's Donovan Edwards. That's going to get the Wolverines on the board first. Washington can only respond with a field goal, but it's only 7-3 until they give it to Edwards again. That one from about 45 out. Now it's 14-3 Michigan, much to the delight of Jim Harbaugh. But now how about a play Washington absolutely wants back? 4th and 7. They had what they wanted, but it's dropped. That one may have gone to the house instead. Turnover on downs. Texas wondering where that was last week. That turnover on downs was actually near midfield. That mistake would haunt them the rest of the game because just final. Michigan is your national champion, winning 34-13. But how about another game at NRG? It's a Houston-Texan playoff game. They have won the AFC South title, so now they're going to play host to the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland demolished the Texans last time out. Obviously, much different circumstances this time around because hardly anyone was healthy last time, including C.J. Stroud. That game will be Saturday at 3:30 p.m. The Dallas Cowboys, winners of the NFC East and the number 2 seed in the NFC, will host the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, of course, at AT&T Stadium. That game at 3:30 as well on Sunday. The day after the NFL regular season ends is known as Black Monday, and it's a day where many head coaches learn their fate and learn that they've been fired, and a name that has been rumored to be let go is a legendary one, and that is Bill Belichick, who has been the head coach of the Pats since 2000. He has not had much success at all since the Tom Brady departure, leaving many wondering where the 71-year-old will be next year.
Not the results, obviously, from any of us. Starting with me and, all the way down to everybody else that was involved in it. I know we all feel the same way. So I'm under contract, do what I always do, which is, every day I come in, work as hard as I can to help the team.
He's the greatest coach of all time. But that's above my pay grade. I'll let those guys handle those things. If he's here, if he's not here. Of course, that's Coach Belichick and Mr. Kraft's decision. I can't really speak on that.
That's Victoria Easton on Bailey Zappi. And while that would certainly be a historic parting of the ways if it does happen, one of the most iconic brands and athletes officially parted ways today. After 27 years, Tiger Woods and Nike said goodbye. On social media, Woods wrote he was fortunate to work with Nike for 27 years, adding, quote, "There will certainly be another chapter." Nike responded saying, quote, "It was a hell of a round, Tiger." So far, no word on where Woods' next partnership may come from. Well, the old Country Road song, and they confessed their love for West Virginia. The Houston Cougars singing that a whole lot this year. First Big 12 wins for soccer, volleyball, football, and now basketball have all come against West Virginia. And with that win, the Cougs moved to 14-0 on the year and are now the last remaining undefeated team in the country. They are ranked at number 2 behind number 1 Purdue. And Don, I must say it is nice to finally have a Black Monday without the Texans being on the receiving end of wondering where their next coach was going to come from, because we now have ours.
What a great time for Houston sports. The Astros, here the Texans, the Rockets are playing well, my Cougars.
It's a good time for Houston.
Nothing but happy times.
All righty, thank you. Now stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, Apple has announced their new Vision Pro headset will go on sale next month.
Launch Alliance Vulcan Centaur rocket launched on its first inaugural flight early this morning. The rocket lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 2:18 a.m. Eastern Time. It carried the private astrobotic Peregrine moon lander and human remains on a mission to the moon and deep space. This marked the first U.S. soft landing on the moon since the final Apollo landing in 1972 and the first ever lunar landing by a private company. Willem Dafoe was the honored today with the 2,768th star, but who's counting, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Dafoe stars in the category of motion pictures, and he's appeared in more than 100 films throughout his career. They include The Lighthouse, John Wick, Finding Nemo, and Platoon, in which he received one of his 4 Academy Award nominations. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce says millions of people have visited the Walk of Fame since its debut in 1960. I wonder if he starred in any weather movies, you know, like, because Willem Dafoe has been in a lot.
And what an actor. I mean, what an actor.
He always plays the villains, right? That's him.
He's probably the shark in Finding Nemo then, if that's the case. I don't remember him. I don't remember him in the movie. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Or the octopus that kept getting out of the jar. That was amazing.
I remember that.
Oh,
He was the villain in Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, he was the goblin.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, all right.
So he was an active guy, and you've been an active guy today,
Well, yeah,
chasing these storms.
Just today, but no star on the Walk of Fame. What can I say? Folks, we do have additional showers that are developing right now, but this is all going to end after midnight, and then by sunrise, we pick up a gusty northwest wind. So tomorrow, dry and windy and sunshine, and a high of about 62. Middle of the week, or by Friday, is the next front. That one's dry. Just giving you a heads up, 8 days from now, right now, the computers are giving us low temperatures of about in the 20s for 3 days. And so it's time to get ready for the pets, the pipes, the plants, and the people too as well.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. Apple announced its Vision Pro mixed reality headset goes on sale in the U.S. on February 2nd. Its underlying technology lets users overlay virtual images on live videos of the real world. Unlike other headsets on the market, the device displays the user's eyes on the outside. So CEO Tim Cook is calling it the most advanced consumer electronics device ever created. And it's starting at $3,500, making it one of the priciest products out there right now. So, you know.
More than a phone?
Yeah.
I thought the phone was bad enough.
Well, this one is going to be, I guess, next level. Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Astorine, meteorologist Parker Cox, 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.